Hello, folks. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, teacher.
Yes.
Okay, folks. Welcome to this new course that is called Elaboración de Materiales Didácticos. Okay. So in this first session, let me a minute, please. Give me a minute. Okay, in this first session, the topics that we will be discussing are definition of teaching and learning materials, purpose of teaching and learning materials, importance of teaching and learning materials, and the strategies of using teaching and learning materials. The main objective in this session is to highlight the importance of teaching and learning materials and to identify the strategies of using teaching and learning materials, okay? So let's move on with something that I would like to share with you. And is this. What do you think about this, folks? Teaching and learning materials are not a complete method of teaching, but an aid to learning. So do you think that this is true, this is false, and why?
Teacher, I consider that this point is true because when we only teach English using material, we make a combination between material, games, and something like that. And we try to use other things that we can use to teach English.
Okay, thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you very much. Another opinion related to these ideas, to these theories? Do you agree with Jacqueline Loaiziga, or do you have a different opinion about it? Okay, let's continue. Let's see this one. TLMS, that means teaching learning materials, are not necessarily required in all lessons. Ismael, what do you think about that?
Can you hear me now? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you now. So I think that they are necessary. Probably it's not a must in all lessons, but they are necessary because they are, as we have in here, they are an aid for learning and teaching for the whole process, because it makes it smoother and easier and quicker for teachers to teach and for learners to learn.
Okay, thank you, Javier. Your last name is Chamorro, right?
Mora Chamorro.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's see the other one. Too many aids in one lesson may distract attention from the main subject of the lesson and can take much of the learner's time. Andrea, what do you think about this?
When it comes to aids, I think it all depends on the kind of material that we're using. But somehow I think it's true. Like, for example, if we focus too much in having the students have fun while learning, so that means that if we play a lot of games and stuff, they will probably be distracted, even though we're trying to teach them a subject, maybe something that is grammar, but we're doing it with a game because we want them to be to have fun. If we do it too much in a lesson, then they're going to be distracted, and most of the time they will be focusing on the game rather than the lesson.
Okay, thank you very much. That's right. I agree with you. Let's see the other one. Teaching and learning materials should be adapted to the understanding and levels of the class. Let's see. Nayeli, what do you think about this one? Do you think that it is true, it is false?
About what, teacher?
The last one, the last statement. Teaching and learning
Uh,
materials should be adapted to the understanding and level of the class.
Um, yeah, I think that any level, it's understanding and about the class, because all the topic to be explained according to the level.
Okay,
That's it.
Jervin, what do you think about that, Jervin?
Okay, teacher, I think that uh, teaching learning materials are important because help in the teaching of a student, and I think that this class teaching learning material should be understand according to the level of the class.
Okay, thank you very much, Jervin Cordero. So, folks, do you think that according to this theory, to this statement, do you think that we can teach the same words from basic level to the high levels? For example, if we have clean, so clean can be taught in basic levels and in high levels, or clean up, clean away, clean up. What do you think? Nobody's here. So let's see. Okay, folks, sorry, let's continue. What about this? The teaching and learning materials should be relevant to the subject of the lesson.
I agree with that.
Yeah, Ismail.
I agree with that because we have to keep our materials like valid. They should be valid. They should be like reliable and relevant to the topic that we're going to be talking about.
Okay, thank you. Another opinion? Do you agree with Ismael? Okay, let's move on. Let's see, folks. So when we talk about teaching and learning materials, how would you describe teaching materials and learning materials? What are they for you? How would you describe teaching materials? Blas? Okay, let's see some definitions that I
teacher.
have here. Yeah,
Teaching material, it's the material that the teacher is going to use.
mhm,
And learning material, it's the things that we can use during the class.
okay, good. So let's see some definitions that we have here. One of these one is that teaching materials are the aids used by the facilitator to help him or her in facilitating his or her lesson effectively, right? So you know the facilitator is the teacher, right? So another definition that we have according to the learning materials, that they are the aids used by the learners to help him or help her learn effectively, right? As at a certain point, the same thing as you mentioned, Jacqueline. Let's see the other one. And both teaching and learning materials can be big or small. What do you think? Do you agree with that? Can we use teaching materials as a teachers, small teaching materials or big small teaching materials?
It's depend of the time, teacher, because if you don't have enough time, you can use a big material.
Okay. Andrea, I would like to listen to you, Andrea. What do you think about this? Because you are a teacher as well, right?
Yes, but I don't know if it refers to the length or if we're using maybe like a physical material if we're talking about the shape. But I guess it refers to the timing, just like Jacqueline saying. For example, a lesson plan that covers 5 hours will probably have a lot of aids to help the teacher.
Right.
So if we have only 1 hour, or in our case, that for example is 2 hours, we're gonna have a lot of reading, we're gonna have some listening. But if it's 5 hours, then I guess that we're gonna have a wide range or variety of topics to cover and a lot of teaching materials that could be from
Right.
small activities to bigger ones.
Okay, good. Thank you. Let's see the other one. The teaching and learning materials can be bought or made easily by both the facilitator or learners. Alison, what do you think about this? Imagine that you are an English teacher. So the teaching materials are gonna be bought for you or are gonna be made by yourselves? She's not here. Let's see. Yeah, you're here, Alison. Genesis, what do you think, Genesis? Hello,
Teacher.
Ismael. Yeah? Okay. I see that nobody wants to participate. Okay, let's move on
Teacher,
to the other one.
I think
Yeah?
I think that the material can be about or made for the teacher because depending of the level of class, if the
Yeah.
teacher want to make material or maybe buy in a store.
Okay.
Depending of the
Yeah.
what is the method that need to use in the classroom.
Okay,
That's all.
that sounds good. Let's continue, folks. Let's see. Let's move on to this one. So here we have the purpose and importance of teaching learning materials. Why do you think that they are important? First, because that make lesson interesting, okay? So sometimes it's very recommendable to use some teaching and learning materials in some classes but not all the time you can use this, right? All depends on the context, on the content or topics that you will be presenting to the students. Another important, why they are important is because they make learning easy. So in what way do you think that they make learning easy, the teaching and learning materials?
I have an example.
Yeah.
If we're using visual aids, for example, they are like interesting to the site. They are catching to the students.
Yeah.
And not only visual aids, but if we present a video or a listening activity, it's gonna keep the students engaged while also having them develop the skill that we're gonna be targeting.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see the other one. Help learning. For example, what has been learned? This is to remain in the minds of the learners for a longer time. Let's see, okay, let's see the other one. So help the facilitator to deliver his or her lesson successfully and easily. What do you think about this? Jorvin, what do you think? Do you think that teaching and learning materials can do a successful and easy lesson plan? So do you think that your lesson given to the students is gonna be in a successfully way? Thank you very much. Okay, let's see. So we have another one. Enable the facilitator to express intended concepts of learning effectively, right? Who wants to add something about that one? Enable the facilitator to express intended concepts and learning effectively. Thanks for your participation. Okay, let's see here. They are both teaching and learning materials, things and idea that which are usually familiar to the learners, right? So we need to look for something that a student can understand, okay? Related to the context that you're teaching according to their levels. Let's see some strategies of using teaching and learning materials. I don't know if you remember in the previous classes that you were taking, we were talking about the strategies, techniques, methods, and so on. So what do you remember, or how would you describe a strategy, or what is a strategy for you?
A strategy.
Yeah. What about this, folks? Do you think that a strategy is the most effective way of doing something? Do you agree with that? It's the same when we say that method is the same?
Strategy, teacher.
Yes.
For example, active learning is based on in active activities that require active participation and interaction between a student to teacher and a student to student.
Okay.
For me, a strategies is techniques of learning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ismael, do you think that the strategies should be the best method when compared with other alternative method? Why alternative? Because remember that we have different types of methods, right? So can we say that this should be the best method when comparing between some methods?
I think that the strategy only makes things easier for the teacher to deliver a class. I wouldn't replace a strategy for a method, but they are easy to handle. They are like a tool that we have at hand so we can develop our class appropriately. But I wouldn't think that they are better than like a whole method, which should be a whole theory.
Mhm.
The strategy is just a tool for me.
So strategies are just for the teachers, or we have a strategy for the learners?
That's a tricky question. But I think that they are mostly intended for to help the teachers deliver their class. But I do think that there might be some student strategies that's as well. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, they are learning strategies, and for the teacher are teaching strategies, right?
Okay.
So we can also say that the strategy can be developed or even improved upon after closer interaction with the learners, okay? Let's see some strategies that we have here. So I brought just two for today because the other ones are gonna be discussed at class, okay? Because I'm seeing that when we have the presential class, you participate more than virtually. Let's see the first one. Teaching becomes interesting when the learner uses reasonably sized teaching aids, which can be seen easily by the trainees. What do you think, Andrea?
Wait a minute, I'm reading.
Okay.
I don't know if it like when we're talking about reasonably sized, are we talking about teaching in the level that we're supposed to teach.
Yeah.
And what I mean with this is if we're teaching level 1, then we're not gonna focus on phrasal verb, for example, because those are difficult topics. So now that I have level 1 this month, I'm noticing that there are a lot of things that they don't know and that they pretty much beginners, but real beginners. So I guess that they look or they seem interested in the lesson when they're learning something that they know they're capable of handling. So I guess it's about that.
Okay, thank you. Let's see the second one, folks. Nobody in the learning groups should strain their eyes to see what has been written on the board or flip charts.
I do it all the time, but that's because I have sight issues.
Uh-huh.
But I agree with that. I think that when we're talking about like visual aids, like flip charts or like scorecards, they should be visible. They should be like readable.
Okay, good. Folks, I really appreciate your time, okay? That's gonna be all for today. So the presentation was too short, okay? Remember that if you have questions, you can ask by the different means that we have, and the most important is to attend the class, okay? And do the homework, okay? Do the homework. The homework is on the platform. You can check there and be prepared for March 17th, okay?
Teacher, I have a question.
Yeah,
This class is virtual or presential?
it's virtually,
Ah, okay.
okay? The first one was methodology of the English language teaching for young learners. But
Yeah.
the last Saturday, sorry, the last Sunday, that class finished. And this one, we are starting the new ones, okay? The
Okay.
elaboration of teaching and learning materials, right?
Okay. And